Welcome to the Scoop World Order. We have Bill Greene and Nevadabuck. Nevada, are you there? I almost called you by your real name. Are you there?
Hello.
Can I get a hello?
Hello.
Okay. The people that don't get this joke is because it just took us 15 minutes to figure out how to get Bank's audio to work, and Ken's audio is acting like it's been working the whole time to keep saying hello. So that's his new thing. Bank, how are you doing, man? Is that Amen Corner? Is it Masters?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh my God, you sound like
I'm
a five-star
free.
You sound like a five-star trying to get a hold of Stud right now. You're saying, hello, do you know
Yeah.
me?
I'm free.
We've had a hell of a Stud thread in the last week on a kid, Keontae Goodwin. I don't even know if he's going to end up here or not. Bank, you still think he's coming? You still think he's coming here or no? What's your boy Vince Marrow telling you?
Well, Kentucky thinks they have him locked down, but they thought they had Blue Smith locked down. I've heard this song and dance before, but I know all the hype that's out there that Keontae is going to Kentucky. I know where it's coming from. It's coming from the Kentucky side of things. And they could be right. I mean, they felt that way about Jager Burton last year, and they were right. But they felt that way about Blue Smith, and they weren't right. So I don't know, but that's where it's coming from right now. Kentucky is convinced that they have him, and any reporter that they talk to, they're going to tell them that they have him. So that's where that's coming from right now.
Nevada, what do you think right now? You gave him the equal signs. Are you so confident in the equal signs that he's coming to Ohio State?
First of all, I don't even remember I had the equal sign on him. It's been so long on Goodwin. I think he ends up being a Buckeye. I think everything that I've heard from people that are close to him and the people that know him really well seems like it's a perfect fit with Ohio State. And I think that all this is a bunch of noise because he can't visit right now. And he might be getting a little frustrated. He might be getting a little antsy. He hadn't envisioned this being his kind of calendar for how things were going to go down. But I think it's all said and done. He's a Buckeye, and I think this is just good message board fodder for right now.
Good fodder it is. We have a 20-page thread on a kid who hasn't even committed anywhere. He's probably still going to end up at Ohio State, but it's all this stud can't recruit, stud can't develop, the O-line's not good. And I don't know, like I'm an O-line guy, and I think like our O-line's been great. Like, I mean, compared to where it was during like the Jim Bowman, with Trussell. And I mean, I know what bad O-line play looks like because I played on some, like I lived it. It's like now it's like we got like Wyatt Davis and Jonah Jackson playing guard. I'm like, holy cow, we've never had better guards than that ever. We have 2 All-American caliber tackles. I'm like, so I don't know. Like and I don't like Stud. I told Ken today, I was like, you know what Stud is? Stud to me is like Burger King. Burger King, like I'm not gonna go out of my way to eat Burger King. I don't love Burger King, but if someone gives me a double Whopper with cheese, I'm going to eat it and I'm going to like it. But I'm not going to like say I love Burger King more than anywhere in the world. I haven't eaten there in like 10 years, but that's what he is. Like, I mean, it's okay. I'm not going to go out of my way to say it's great, but I've seen a lot worse. I talked to Zach Smith today and he's like, we had Ed pulling in Grant Schmidt and a bunch of other guys that just couldn't play anywhere. And
Ed's guys knocked Alabama all over the field. Right? Wrong? Indifferent? I mean, the proof is in who you are. Like, to me, and I could be wrong, it's one opinion. This is all opinion stuff. It's not 2 + 2. So to me, Stud is a above average developer and a below average recruiter. And I think you would be a better recruiter. I really believe that. You would not have lost J.D. Duplain and Nick Samac and a lot of these guys, but I don't know that you would develop talent the way he does. So
that's
to me,
that's what I say. I know I can get him in the door. I don't know if I can develop him like him. Like that's
well, he's a net positive, and he's coaching a position that's very hard to coach. And I think you would agree with that. When they list the top O-line coaches, they're not going to list 20 or 25, but they will list, if you list the top offensive gurus in college football, people will run out 15, 20 names easily, but they don't do it with offensive line coaches. It's a hard position to coach. So if you have a guy that's a net positive, then you do not fire him. You don't entertain the thought of firing him. You kick him in the butt, make him recruit a little harder. Yeah, heck yeah. But firing him is ridiculous. It's not even on the table. It's not even a question, in my opinion. That's just one dude.
What do you think about it, Ken? I mean, me and you we're like the defenders of studs. I can't wait for the next
scoop. Here's the thing.
I
I
defend
hate
him. I
No,
defend
dude, we're talking. We have a stud hater on the phone, and it's okay. It's like I find myself defending stud, and I don't even know stud. It's like stud's nothing to me. It's like I don't even know why I got into this thing. I like to defend what I feel are logical positions, and the logical position is we've recruited a 5-star in every the last 6 recruiting cycles in the offensive line. The offensive lines that we've put out in the field have been terrific in my view. Have they been perfect? No, but they've been terrific. Guys go from they're getting drafted by the NFL. The lines are productive. We've been successful. I think the depth on the offensive line right now, in my opinion, is the most proven depth that I'd ever seen in my life watching Ohio State football. I've never seen a time when we've had guys that will have multiple starts under their belt that will be sitting on the bench. And last year when we lost 3 starters in 1 week to COVID and had to roll guys out there, I think we put up 52 points and 560 yards of offense or something like that. So I know it was Michigan State, and I hear all that, but I just think that, offensive line, man, we can talk about a lot of positions in the field, but offensive line is just not one of them. But like I said, it's weird how I've become like this defender of all things stud. I'm stud doing stud things. But I don't even like stud. I don't even like stud, but I like good offensive line playing, and
Right.
we certainly have that in abundance right now.
Well, here's how I see this year. Okay, you guys talk about all the depth and I see 2 guys that can play for sure. The tackles are A+, could be the best in the country.
What? 2 guys?
But you'll say Harry Miller's an All-American, and you'll say DeJuan Jones is unbelievable, and you'll say, but I don't see that. I see Mumford and Nicholas Pettifrere as absolute sure thing studs. And then after that, all unproven after that. You lost Josh Myers and Wyatt Davis. They weren't great last year, but they're better than the guys that you got this year. Those guys are going to play in the NFL. They're going to get drafted. But now I'm not saying that DeJuan Jones and Harry Miller and Matt Jones can't play. I'm just saying we don't know. We do not know.
I think PJ can play.
Oh, how many plays did he play last year? 20? 25? But you have him as a surefire. How many plays did he play last year?
He played against Clemson. Played good.
How many?
What, 50?
No chance. He played 50. I'm just saying
in the entire season?
On the entire season. How many plays did he play?
I sleep like a baby having Paris Johnson at right guard. I'm just telling you.
Okay.
Like a baby.
And you're telling me Harry Miller's a sure thing?
No, I think Matt Jones. I think Matt Jones is really good.
Matt Jones is the worst pass protection joke in pass protection. He was awful last year in pass protection. He couldn't block anyone. Now he may be good though. He didn't play that much, and he's young. But I'm just saying you can't call Matt Jones, Harry Miller, and Paris Johnson sure freaking things. You can't. We don't know. We hope. We guess. You want to tell me Mumford's a sure thing? Boy, you get no ringer from me. Sure thing. Nicholas Pettifrere, sure thing. The others, I don't know, dude. Maybe, hopefully, maybe. But that's what you are. You're hopefully maybe. No different.
Dude, we had guys. You're talking about guys that got snaps against Clemson and balled out and started other games. You're talking about DeJuan Jones, Paris Johnson, Matt Jones, Harry Miller. You've got 4 interior guys. You got Max. We're not even talking about Max Ray, who's got a start under his belt as a spare tackle. I mean, you've got 8, 9 guys.
They're all surefire studs. All of them. We don't know if any of them are. They started a game. Good for them. They real good. I mean, I can't sit here and say
they balled out against Clemson. They balled out against Clemson. I think if they ball out against Clemson, that pretty much establishes that you can play.
And got the living hell beat out of them by Alabama.
Not on offense. Offense, we didn't get dominated by Alabama. Defensively, Devontae Smith just scored again as we're looking this. But our problems that night were not. I mean, our problems were twofold. One, Trey Sermon going down the first play. Secondly, we couldn't stop anybody. But it wasn't like I sat there and going, man, Alabama just outmatched us defensively. We just couldn't get anything going.
You know how many snaps Paris Johnson? How many snaps Paris Johnson had last year in the year?
40.
26.
was close. You round it up. You
I
count
thought-
warm-ups.
And
I
you're
count
telling me for
warm-ups.
26 snaps, you know he's a superstar. Now I think he
Yeah,
can be really good.
I didn't say superstar. I said I think he's gonna be a real good player.
I think he's
this isn't
really
just based
good.
upon- I think he's really good.
I
you
mean,
can't
This is based
here's
upon
the thing.
practice
Like,
reports, everything. He's good. He's a good player.
going into last season, I thought Wyatt would be out of this world, and then he tears his MCL, and he's not nearly as effective as he should have been. Josh Myers breaks his foot, and he shoots up every game, so his entire leg is numb, and he plays like shit. And like, so do I weight the grades a little bit? Like, it's not an excuse, but I mean, it's just real. It's like if it's like me saying, well, Jalen Waddle looked really slow in the championship game. It's like, yeah, he has a broken leg. I mean, he's out there running past their guys, but he doesn't look like a smooth, fluid athlete with a broken leg. But I don't know. Like, did I think Wyatt and Josh would be better? Yeah, but I also, you're only one injury away from Thayer Munford being out, one back injury away from him being out, and then DeJuan's our guy. And when that smoke came up with your boy Higdon with DeJuan and the Gators, like, I thought that was real.
Yeah, and I don't know I don't really know what. I don't know what that was all about.
To me, it's like
it
it was real weird how all of a sudden that pops up right when internally they're probably figuring out that Thayer's actually come back for a 5th year, which, I mean, he wasn't eligible for a 5th year, and for COVID, he's in the draft right now. But that 5th year he decides to come back,
Right.
and it's like magically when he decides to come back, then DeJuan is this portal stuff pops up in the Gators, and and I mean, DeJuan's a big monster. I mean, he looks like a Georgia Gator, offensive tackle, like those big giant guys that they get. And I don't know, like I've played on teams where if one of us got hurt, we were completely screwed. So I've coached on lines where if one guy got hurt, we were completely screwed. I mean, because Matt, I was worried, like when in Michigan State we had to start 2 tackles who've never started before. I was scared to death. I was like, oh my God, this could be a nightmare. We might win 16-13 versus a bad Michigan State team. But those guys went in there and they didn't vomit and piss down their leg. Like I thought they could have. I've seen guys do that, but I mean, they're older. Right. They didn't transfer out, and hopefully we can hang. The biggest thing I worry about is just them transferring with this one-time transfer thing, because I think that is something that we're woefully underestimating right now, because guys are going to be able to go and start somewhere because we have good players that aren't going to be starters this year. And like a guy like DeJuan, who thinks he's going to be the left tackle this year, and then Thayer magically comes back, and you're sitting there and you're like, I waited my turn, and all of a sudden I got to wait another year. Like, or I could go to Georgia and start at left tackle this year, or go to LSU and start at left tackle this year. Because, there's people that are going to want our backups, because our backups are good. And they played last year, and they've got film. They actually have film that they can watch and say, oh, yeah, this kid's good enough to play for us. So I don't know. I've lived and played on terrible O-lines. I've seen terrible talent. And this is not bad talent. And I even talked to Zach about that. He's like, yeah, we've got like ballers.
Oh, I don't think so either.
I mean, that's why it's.
Oh, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying they're unproven. I'm saying you got 2 provens and then a lot of you're hopeful.
Yeah, but to me, that's college football. Like, I mean, you're very rarely going to have 5 guys back. And if you have 5 guys back one year, then the next year you're going to lose them all. And you're going to be like Michigan last year, who had to graduate 5 that went to the league. And then you've got mush up front, essentially. So, but I don't know. Like,
no, I agree.
I love the conversation.
And we don't.
Yeah. And I mean, and like I said, and you're
coming back, I feel pretty good of where you're at. When you got Olave and Wilson coming back, and you want to tell me we got the best in the country, I'm not arguing there. Those guys are unbelievable. But but you can't put DeJuan Jones in that category. You can't put Harry Miller in that category. So that's what I'm saying. Proven, surefire. There's a lot of unproven on this team, from the DBs to the linebackers, the O-line, the quarterback. There's a lot of unproven this year. A lot of talent, but a lot of unproven talent.
If you had to pick 2 position groups that you lose the most sleep over, and I know you don't, because you're not like a diehard Ohio State fan, you're an analyst. I get it.
No,
but if you're in the shoes of an Ohio State fan, what 2 position groups do you lose the sleep over? I'm going to throw this to Nevada first. Nevada, what are the 2 groups that worry you the most right now?
I mean, it's linebacker and defensive back, without question.
I'm 100% with you.
100% with you. The back 7, man.
100% with that. No doubt. Not a question.
I mean, that's going to make or break the season again. And I mean, and thankfully we'll have the best group of receivers we've ever had in the history of the school. I've never seen a receiver room like this, like talent wise. I hope they all stay. I hope they don't transfer, but what about the back seven scares you, Bill? Just inexperience.
Every single player back there. No, seriously, I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, who's good? I'm serious. Now, I'm not trying to be smart ass or trying to be funny. I'm serious.
No,
who do you know back there? Who are you looking at saying, man, I know this guy can play? Gant? Maybe.
Proctor.
Maybe.
Proctor can play.
Where are you going to play him? We're in as the back deep safety? Maybe as a linebacker.
No, I think you walk him into the box.
Yeah,
I think Proctor's got to play closer.
Agree. But I don't think that's where they're going to play him. I think they're going to play him as the deep safety.
Lathan Ransom, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, you may be right. But are you telling me for sure, or you're saying maybe?
No, I'm not telling you anything. There's nothing for sure. Braxton Miller blew his shoulder out throwing an out cut, and his shoulder fouled on the socket, and so there's nothing for sure in college football. Like, I mean,
I think Olave and Wilson are for sure. I'll take them as for sure.
Okay.
I'll take for sure. Zach Harrison, I'll take for sure. Haskell Garrett, I'll take for sure.
Wait.
Whoa. You're going to say
Zach Harrison? Zach Harrison is in the same category as Olave and Wilson?
I think we know what we're getting out of him. I think he's a hell of a player.
Bill, you said you stopped drinking. You said that you stopped drinking. You can't do this. You can't do these podcasts and be drinking when you're doing this, man.
Zach Harrison was a heck of a player last year. He had a heck of a year.
Oh my goodness. You've
but
been
reading
PFF. I think Zach was
picks.
Oh, I'm not saying he's an All-American, but I'm saying he's a surefire starter.
Well, so is Paris Johnson.
I mean, you think so?
I think PJ's going to start. What about Ruckert? Is Ruckert a surefire starter? I love this.
His track record. You're bragging about Paris Johnson's game against Clemson. How many plays did he play against Clemson?
6.
How many snaps?
8.
10.
8. 6.
Get 10.
10.
Good.
Okay. Hey, look, all I'm saying is Paris Johnson's a lot closer to being a starter than Zach Harrison is. That's just my opinion. I'm not sure Zach Harrison's going to start.
Who's going to beat him out?
Friday. Smith.
No chance.
I don't know.
Tyler Friday, no chance.
I know they did mic him up, so that usually is a pretty good indicator. But I thought Zach was okay last year. It was just okay, and I wanted him to be great. I really did want him.
I thought he was pretty good. I thought he should have played more, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm just going off what I see. I'm just one dude's opinion.
You do your film breakdown every Sunday. I love reading it.
Well, I think your opinion though that he was as good as Olave or Wilson. That's the thing.
No. I'm talking about surefire starters, and I think Zach's a surefire starter. I think he's fine, but when you start talking about, I think Zach Harrison's a better player than Proctor and has a defined role that more than Proctor does.
Yeah, but look, Proctor's like the key to the defense this year. I mean, they're going to be walking him into the box. They're going to be running him and Craig Young around. They're going to try to play that. They all saw what we saw last year. That was a disaster. There's no other way to put it. It was a disaster, and it was a wake up call for those guys. That they can't roll guys like out there. They can't roll that type of scheme out there and expect to win. And I think they've kind of got that message.
Bill, do you think it gets fixed? Do you think that this staff minus Madison can get it fixed this year?
I don't know. I think they're going to run that single high again. I think they really believe in that. I think Dave believes in that, and I think they're going to run it again. And then, I don't know.
But what about you, Nevada? Can they get it done?
Yeah, they're going more best 11 this spring, and they're starting to move guys around, trying to go to more exotic looks and try to play a little bit more of a pressure style. And I think it's the right way to go with this defense. I think in this age of elite offenses, the key isn't that you're trying to stifle other teams, but you're just trying to get stops. You're trying to find a way to get stops, manufacture stops. And how do you manufacture stops? You manufacture stops with negative plays. And I think that's what they're going to go to, and we'll see. But I think when you hear them talking about the players they're talking about, those are the types of players. Those are those fast players that are high impact, that can go out there and cause mayhem. And I think they're looking to cause mayhem. They've been doing it with some effectiveness here in the spring, and hopefully that continues over the fall. But I'm with Bill. It's a big, big, big question mark for the Buckeyes this year.
Yeah, it's going to make or break us, because I'm sure we'll make it to the playoffs again. I'm sure we're going to see Bama again. Since Bama is our number 2 most talked about team and favorite team to talk about, who do you guys think are the sure things coming back for the Crimson Tide this year? Because to me, it's like they're going to have a new quarterback.
They lost a lot.
Najee Harris, Leatherwood. They lost.
Clemson, Clemson should be the returning number 1 team, but not Bama. But they'll probably give it to Bama just out. But they lost a ton off that team. But every time you count Nick Saban out, he puts another trophy in the case. But they lost a lot of dudes off that team, and I mean players. So I'm not sure Georgia isn't the favorite to win the SEC, and I know how hilarious that sounds, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Nick doesn't win every year. Just seems like he does. But I think Clemson would be preseason number 1 for me. They got the QB. They got a lot of defensive guys back. They would be my preseason number 1.
Do you agree with that, Nevada?
I'm liking Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma's got a lot. There's a lot to like about that team. A lot to like about that schedule. But
they're better defensively. They are better defensively too. That was a good move bringing Grinch in. They were better. So I think they're right there. I agree with that.
Yeah, but I think the
I'm
Buckeyes,
taking Bama
if the
Buckeyes
Buckeyes
come home.
If the Buckeyes can find a quarterback, if we can find a quarterback, we're gonna be right there. And that's like we've got 3 good ones to pick from. And if one of those guys can just not throw up all of themselves, I think we're gonna be just fine.
Does CJ Stroud take the first snap against who we start with? Buffalo? Or I don't even know who we start
Minnesota,
with.
isn't it?
Oh, Minnesota. Yeah.
Minnesota.
My mind's already on Oregon, because I know that we're gonna be playing the Fighting PJ Flex. Is he taking the first snap? Nevada Bank, CJ Stroud, is he taking the first snap?
I think Stroud will be the guy, but McCord can play. We'll see. I think it'll be Stroud.
You agree, Nevada?
I think they really want it to be Stroud. I would have said a few weeks ago I would have bet anything that it would have been Stroud, and I still believe it will be. But I think that race is a lot closer than people think right now, and I think a lot of people inside the program are frankly surprised by that. And I think this is going to be something that goes on into the into the fall, and it's a horse race, that's for sure.
And I also think that Ryan Day is going to, even if he knows in his mind who he's going to start, I think publicly he's going to say it's a horse race, because you don't want any of those guys to transfer. So you really want to keep all those guys happy and in, competing and in the mix, at least, up to about 2 weeks before the first game. I would think that's how I would play it. Do you think he'll do that to keep all 3 of them engaged?
I think he has to. I think you're exactly right. I think that's exactly how he wants to play it. His nightmare scenario, frankly, is somebody transfers out between now and fall camp. So he is going to keep those guys. He's going to keep Miller and Stroud engaged. McCord, he's going to be preaching patience too, and because you don't expect the freshmen to get too antsy and take off. But I think for those 2 guys that have been around, they're going to feel like they have it's an open competition. But it is an open competition. I mean, CJ's been a little loose with the ball, and Miller's been a little bit more precise than people thought, and it's close. I mean, it's close.
How many? I'm going to set the number at 3. Over under the number of Ohio State guys that transfer out when the one-time transfer rule passes.
Wow.
Over under. I'll start with you, Bank. 3.
Man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one there. That's
what I pay you big bucks for, Bank.
Yeah, I mean, I look at guys like Jalen Harris. Is he content to just hang in there, get the degree? walk out of there an Ohio State player with the connections he's made, or does he want to transfer to Akron or Kent and play ball? There's like a lot of guys like that on this team, I think, Gavin Cupp, and what are those guys thinking right now? You know what I mean? I just don't know how those guys are approaching it. The guys that, got the extra year from the NCAA, but did they want to take it and go to Akron or Kent? Or do they want to just hang in here and take a shot back, get back to the playoffs, maybe be on a national championship team? If those guys hang, I don't think you're going to see a lot of transfers. I really don't. But this is a guess. I have no inside info on this.
What about you, Nevada?
I'd go under. Just because I think it'll end up being right around 2. But I don't think you're going to see wholesale movement from the Ohio State team for all the reasons that Bill mentioned. I think it's I think there's a lot of reasons for guys that go beyond football to want to graduate from Ohio State and finish their career at Ohio State. But, this is kind of, a brave new world we're entering into. So I don't think any of us really know, what's going on. But I know that it doesn't have the feeling of a mass exodus. It just sometimes you feel that, you can kind of get that bubbling undercurrent going on. And I'm not sensing that, but, this is tough, but I'd say under.
Yeah, I wouldn't see anybody transferring that would give Ryan Day a sleepless night. Put it that way. I think if someone transfers, it would be a guy that's been in the program forever, buried on the depth chart, just wants to go play somewhere. I could see that. I don't see anyone that, Ryan Day's counting on this year for starting or depth leaving. I don't see that at all. I think it would be a guy that's older, that's buried, that maybe wants to play.
Yeah, and that's why I'm going to go over 3, just because I look at that running back room. It's heavy with scholarship guys. The receiver room is absolutely loaded. I think some guys probably lost a little bit of air out of the balloon when Olave came back, because I talked to NFL scouts and they're just like, he's a top 15 pick this year. Like, I mean, no receiver ever comes back when the Devontae Smith kid did, but. He won the Heisman, and Judy and Ruggs went to the league, and him and Waddle came back. But I just think that, man, some of those guys would think, man, I could go play that X position and be the next guy, and then all of a sudden he comes back, and I don't know, for some reason I just think that one of these O linemen, like with that with Thayer coming back, it's just a kick in the balls. If Shane Olivia would have came back.
Max Ray, I think fits in this category. Max Ray, I think fits in this category. Is he the fourth tackle?
Yeah, and he's from Tennessee.
Play,
Yeah, he'll start at Tennessee the minute he gets there.
Those kind of guys.
Yeah,
because those kind of guys I would have on a list.
Yeah, because they're not going to go to Akron. And they're going to go to Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
If he left, I try to put myself in their shoes. You know what I mean? So I could see Max Ray thinking I should be starting somewhere. And all you got to do is start 12 games next year anywhere. And if they're really good film, you're going to get a shot at the league.
Absolutely. And
if you're the number 4 guy at Ohio State, and Thayer never gets hurt, and NPF never gets hurt, and DeJuan is the 3rd guy, and he doesn't play all that much. I could see Max. If you were counseling Max Ray, if he called you tonight, what would you tell Max Ray to do?
If Alabama called him and said, "Hey, you can play right guard for us next year. We really like your film."
Yeah, like Tennessee. Tennessee makes sense. You know what I mean?
Tennessee. All you got to do is get film out there, Bill. You get film out there, and magically, we had a kid transfer from Alabama to Ohio State, that guard, and he was terrible. He never played a game, but he started at Alabama somehow. So when this kid transferred in, everyone's like, "Oh, well, he's going to be the new starting center over Jacoby Bourne," and he showed up and he was god awful, and he medically retired, but he never played it down at Ohio State, which is weird because you think you're getting a lineman from Bama. You're like, oh, this guy's going to be an animal. And he showed up and he was a turd. So, and I heard that from all those guys. I was like, how's the Bama guy? They're like, is he eating glass and jumping over tall buildings? They're like, no, he's terrible. He's fat, slow. I don't know how and he started 6 games at Bama, which is mind boggling. But well, guys, I'm going to wrap it because I know you guys have stuff to do, but dude, I love this. This is great. I appreciate you guys as always. We always have fun talking
Hello?
amongst the three of us.
Hello?
There he is.
Kirk?
There's,
Hello? Hello?
you gotta turn the battery up on your hearing aid. Hearing aid. You know.
All right, dude. Hey, man,
So-
I appreciate you giving us all this warning, all this notice for this podcast. So keep.
Yeah,
keep
thank
that
you.
up.
Yeah, but I don't want you guys to have all
Preparation
day to
time,
think about it. I want that shit to be spontaneous. I want it to be just coming out of your souls, not be sitting there when you're.
We spoke on the
Yeah,
phone for an hour and a half today. You never mentioned the podcast at all.
I
It was
know. 'Cause
coming
I
out
didn't
of
want you
somewhere, Chris,
when you
that's
went
for
out and played your 36 holes of golf. I don't want you to be thinking about, this is how I'm going to sing Nevada tonight. I can't wait. I got all these
Hello?
linemen I'm going to name that
Hello?
could have got.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't wait till I get my stud gonna stud shirts out on the market, man. This thing's gonna be hot. I can't wait. So
You need to get Can't Play Dead in a cowboy movie first.
I'll do that. I will. I'll put the scoop
With
logo on the back.
With your picture
No.
on it, though.
I'll put my rivals.com the 1 star next to it, and I'll put my prison mugshot,
That's
Pablo
like
Escobar, it'll be perfect.
The first night we opened the doors, June 4th, and we had to chat, and someone asked me, why did you rank Barton a 2-star? And I said, because Scott wouldn't let me rank him a 1-star. That was better.
We want to keep the kid's self-esteem up.
He couldn't go for 3. I think that was better than
I
Woody
couldn't go
saying he
for
couldn't
1.
3.
No, no, Kirk, I'm telling you, I talked to Bill the day that you committed, and Bill said to me, I don't even know who the hell this kid is. And he goes, and I've gone to school all the, I swear
He
said
knows
that.
that's a lie. Kirk knows
That
that's
is
a lie.
so true.
Kirk
Oh,
knows
he
I
knew who
know
I was.
true.
He just rated me really low.
Yeah, I
He
just
wanted,
thought you sucked.
he wanted
He's
Ty
like, I don't even know
Hall,
who this kid is.
Matt Maisel.
Yep. No, we knew who Kirk was. We had him ranked. You were ranked in the Ohio Future Stars. We had you in there.
You might.
Hey, that's
you
why
might have pulled my leg, but I
John
remember
McAllister
you
had me
said,
rated the
I don't even know
highest.
who
That's
this
why
kid
he's the
is.
best. He's the real GOAT. I'm gonna hire him. That's my boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
McAllister
Okay,
had
that's a good
me.
one. That's a good one to end. That's a good one to end on.
Yeah,
Hello?
Matt Maisel.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
Yeah, I was gonna say my guys. I'm gonna go back. We're gonna go through all the guys you had rated above me. I can't wait. See how many career starts they had. Joel
Matt,
Holler weighed
we-
400 pounds.
we had the guy standing. We had the guy lining up next to you better than you, and he was better than you.
Who?
Zach.
Slates?
Zach.
He was. I agree. He was. He was.
He went to Pitt. He went to Pitt. You were headed to Bowling Green.
I know. I was gonna go play for Urban. I would have been his O-line coach right now. I'd have been recruiting like a mofo, and you'd have been saying, "Man, that Barton kid's a great recruiter at Jacksonville."
Just can't coach.
Can't
No,
develop
he
anything.
can't-
Just can't develop. Just can't develop.
He can't develop. Get somebody else in there. Anybody but him.
Yep. Bring Ed back.
That's
Get
gonna be my
Bowman
second
back.
shirt. Anybody, and it'll just say anybody but stud.
Get Bowman
Burke
back.
gonna Burke.
Burke, gonna Burke. You guys are the best. All right,
All right,
fellas. I'll catch up with you guys.
A lot of fun.
See you
A
guys.
lot of fun.
Hello.
See you guys.
Goodbye.